Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. I hope everyone is having an amazing Wednesday so far. Hump day. It is steaming hot in most of the country. I know Oregon is having record-breaking temperatures. Friends that I know in Oregon are like, whoa, where did this come from? It's kind of a little scary what's going on with our weather and our ozone. So, of course, it's hot here in Florida, but that is to be expected. So we kind of treat the summer here like we used to treat winter in Philadelphia. We kind of lay low and go out later at night and earlier in the morning and just stay cool. And thank God for air conditioning. Hi, Michael from England. Kathleen, welcome both of you. So I always think about what I'm going to talk about on these coffee chats the day before, and I kept vacillating back and forth between two different topics, and I have to go with my first instinct because I spend, am I still live? Am I still with you guys? Let me know if you can still see me. I just got to notice that it's saying having trouble. Can you see and hear me? Let me take a quick peek. Oh, technology. I was just thanking the air conditioning gods, and now the internet gods are being bratty. Yes? Okay, good. Thank you, Carolyn. So I will keep talking until you can no longer see me. So I wanted to talk about customer service in the salon. So many things have changed, especially this last year with COVID. I mean, we've gone through as an industry so many things we've never experienced. As far as I know, in my 35 years, we've never had a year like this past year. We've had to do different cleaning procedures, which are not a bad idea. They were a bit overkill with the shields between stations and stuff like that. But as far as the overall cleanliness, think about how many times you've had that nasty brush in your drawer and it has hair wrapped all around it. And you're like, whatever, it's going to get more hair. We really should be cleaning our brushes and our combs and our scissors and everything in between clients. They should have a fresh cape. Some of the things that this restrictive year has taught us is we really do need to clean up our act because we deal with the public. We can pass germs back and forth between people. We're working very closely with them. We're, standing right above them, breathing on them. Cold and flu season, I think we should continue to have people say, if you're not feeling great, if you could please just wear a mask to your appointment. I, for one, hope that the doctor's offices still remain saying, wear a mask when you're not feeling well, because how many times I've avoided well visits at my doctor's office because I have to sit in a waiting room filled with people with all kinds of sicknesses, most of which are contagious. So I'm kind of sitting there like just feeling everybody's germs pile on me. Airplanes, you're trapped in the air with 200 and some people all hacking and coughing and sneezing and not washing their hands when they go to the restroom, and then they're touching the seatbelt, and then you get on the plane after them. So there's a lot of things that have changed for the better, but something that still concerns me is not having a clear-cut, strict policy and procedure manual for customer service. It's such a fine line and such a gray area with customer service. I used to err on the side of going too far and being too nice to my clients to a fault for my health, for my own kids missing me and not having me with them. I always put the customer first. Always, always, always. For probably the first 20 out of the 30 years that I own my business, it was ridiculous. I would have a baby and I would cut my maternity short to go back sooner because I would have those really loyal clients saying, I'm waiting for you. I don't want anyone else to do my hair. And of course, it fuels your ego and you think that what you're doing is so special that why would they want to go to anyone else? And then there's the fear monster that says, if I don't get back in there, she's going to try Sally down the street. And what if she likes Sally better than me? I don't want to give her a reason to check somebody else out that she may not have ever done that if I didn't leave the salon and force her to go elsewhere. But I had a conversation with my daughter yesterday, and that's why I wanted to talk about this today. Every day on forums, I see people using Facebook forums as a form of therapy. I just read one this morning, and this girl was venting about how a client was behaving, and it went like this. She said to the client, "I'm so sorry, something happened with my breaker in the apartment upstairs, and it affected the salon." She must live above her salon. So she said, "I'm not going to be able to do your hair today, but I could come to you if you would like, or do you just want to reschedule?" And the client wrote back, "I'll just cancel." And she jumped on a Facebook group and she wanted everyone to tell her how horrible that client was and how that's not right and that's so disrespectful. And, you know, what normally happens on these forums is everybody jumps in to make the hairstylist feel better. But sometimes the hairstylist is not right in the situation, and having those other hairstylists lift them up and tell them how wonderful of a decision they made on certain things, not this exact example, but other examples where, you know, a client has a picture of her inspiration picture and the hairdresser gets on and shows the picture of what she did, and she goes, "Can you believe this crazy bitch wants her money back?" And I look at the picture and I'm like, yeah, I can believe it, because it looks nothing like the inspiration picture. Now, hopefully that stylist had a conversation and she said, "This is a process. This is going to take 2 to 3 visits at X amount of dollars per visit." Was there a clear conversation, or did that stylist say, "Oh, yeah, and look at the inspo pic and say, "I got you," and then gave her what did not look like that? So what is the difference really between an adjustment and "I changed my mind"? How many times have you gotten a call from a client? I know I have, especially after honeymoons. There is some mental breakdown that happens to brides. They're so stressed leading up to the wedding. I can't tell you in 35 years how many times this has happened, to the point where I'm starting to be able to predict who's going to do it before they even do it because of their personality. Brides will make you get their hair so perfect for their wedding, and usually it's blonder and, you know, more bold and bright and gorgeous than they've ever had in their life for that special day. They've grown out bangs, they've grown out layers, they've gone through hell trying to get that perfect hair so that they can do that awesome updo that they saw on Pinterest with ribbons of money piece blonde pieces, and everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. And then I get a call, literally, you know, I know they're gone for a week for their honeymoon in most cases. Literally the Monday after the honeymoon, I get a call from the bride saying, "I'm coming in, take me back to my natural. This is too much maintenance. I want this off my head. I want to chop it off. I want to chop it up to my chin, and I want to go brown." And I'm like, whoa, honey, that's like false advertisement. You just married this guy looking like this. This is what you presented to the world and to your new husband. That is what you're looking like. And now you're making this drastic change. Is everything okay? Are you having doubts about whether you should have married this guy? Like, what's going on? There's usually something else going on. A lot of times it's the letdown, right? We plan a big event and we get excited, and like the anticipation and the planning fuels us. Then all of a sudden the event is over and it's like this instant somber depression because there's no more planning. It's just you and him, and now you're together, and it's like, oh, okay, we're married. Like, what now? So some women act out through their hair. But here's the problem. It's not your problem that she has buyer's remorse. You gave her that Pinterest-worthy blonde. You took her through that process. You did everything that you were asked and paid to do. It is not your fault if she says a week later, "I want to be brown." So know the difference between an adjustment and a buyer's remorse and a mental breakdown on the client's part. Talk to your client when they call you. Don't say, "Well, that's not my fault." Don't get defensive, but have a protocol. Have something that, as a salon, whether you are a solo provider in a suite, whether you're a booth renter, whether you're a commission stylist, whether you're in a salon of 50 people, it does not matter. The whole business, the whole brand has to be cohesive. You can't have Jill next to you doing redos all day long that aren't even redos. We all have that client that her hair grows this much in, 6 days after her retouch. I'm starting to be that client. Literally days later, I start to have a little bit of gray showing. But me being a professional colorist, I know, I'm like, thank you God, my hair is growing and not falling out in menopause. And yeah, it's going to be gray. I'm 54 years old. So I don't blame the stylist that did my roots and say, you didn't get it all, there's gray. I know that that's brand new hair. But we have to educate our clients. So when they call in a panic about something that we know is not our fault, please do not get defensive, but please do not say, come on in, I'll redo it free. Every hour that you have behind that chair is your income. When you sit down and you want to know what you're going to earn in a year, you want to take the amount of weeks that you plan to work, the amount of days that you plan to work, and then break it down to your hourly time behind the chair. So if you normally take 8 clients a day and you work, 3 days a week, that's 24 hours that you have to earn the maximum amount of income. If you start doing adjustments and redos, at least protect yourself and schedule them, either come in a little bit early or stay late and do them after your billable hours. If you continue to do these adjustments that usually aren't adjustments during your marketable billable time behind that chair, that is going to affect you every single year. You're not going to hit your goals because frankly, you were too nice. So I'm not saying to be like this cold-hearted, bad customer service, but there is a line. There's a fine line. We were talking about a guest who was my absolute favorite. I changed my necklace. I don't know how observant you guys are. I always wear my gold necklace with the circle in the middle. It's my grandmother's wedding ring. So I was flying back to PA for a wedding, and I pulled out this necklace that was always my go-to. But the reason that I stopped sleeping in it and wearing it all the time is my hair gets all wrapped around it because it's like a patterned chain. So it rips my hair out and I get like major hair loss from it. So now I have to remember to take it off at night and put it back on. I'm not that kind of jewelry person. I like to just sleep in everything and it's just my uniform. So why am I talking about my necklace? Oh, so this necklace I became obsessed with on this one client of mine. She was my absolute favorite. The picture of designer heaven, shops at Neiman Marcus, gorgeous from head to toe, every visit. She's coming to get her hair color done. Most women wear that ratty t-shirt that you can get something on and they don't care about. She would come in full on, Hermes, crocodile, $20,000 handbag in white, and I'd be terrified to get color on it. And then starting at the top of her head all the way down to her toes, it was beautiful, Yerman, awesome earrings, and then this Roberto coin necklace that I became obsessed with. And then her outfit would be like every designer and just sit so perfectly on her. And every pair of Gucci sandals that she ever came in with, I became obsessed with getting a pair. So she was my inspiration. And I share that with you because you are an inspiration to a lot of your clients. And don't forget that. When you come running in like cream or late and your hair's standing on end and you're shoving bobby pins in and you have coffee breath or cigarette breath and your outfit is from the night before and you have last night's mascara smudged under your eyes, or you're like a fire-breathing dragon with the vodka that you had last night. Like, we all have those days, but don't think your client doesn't notice. But my favorite, who I get all of my inspiration from, she became such a favorite that I always went way above and beyond for her. If she needed an appointment last minute, something happened, she got the flu, whatever, I would stay late, go in early, go out on my day off, do anything to get her in. And now I'm no longer there, so she's seeing the other girls. She doesn't have that relationship with the other girls at the salon. They love her, but she's not their person. They're a lot younger than her. They don't relate to her the way that I did. So she's getting bratty about not being overly squeezed in, overly served. She's used to that Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, Ritz-Carlton, very high-end service. And what happens is women that travel in those circles, and I'm guilty of it too. I've gone to some pretty fabulous resorts. And the more you pay, the more you ask of the experience. If you get a $50 root touch-up and they miss a couple grays, you're not going to cry. If you get a $200 root retouch and there's one gray hair, you're going to scream like an annoying Karen. So have your customer service meet your level of income, your charging, your prices, and be firm but friendly. So when the person crosses the line and is going too far, you simply have to say, we love you. We love having you come here. You are one of our most amazing clients. You're one of our favorites. But there's only so much time in the day, and there are going to be times when we just can't bend. We just have to say no. COVID made us go down to 50%. You know, at one point, people that normally squeeze people in can't squeeze people in. That's a whole other coffee chat for me. I'm not a big fan of the squeeze in. I think it's a silly setup, but because you're never really on time and you're never really squeezing anyone in. You're just robbing one person of a quality visit all day long, trying to go back and forth and be everything, and then you're nothing. So what is that line on adjustments? You know, you have to educate the client and tell her hair grows this amount every this many weeks. And, you know, if you have that ring around your hairline that happens in 10 days, you know, come up with a procedure for that. Maybe you can try the Ruskin 10 color where it's the 10-minute color and say to her, come in 10 days. I'm not even going to put you on the book. Just call me that morning. You slide her in when someone is sitting and processing for 30 minutes, not, you know, stepping over your client that was on the appointment book, but you always have 10 minutes. So have that client come in, apply it around that area that she sees, her part and her hairline. I just did that. I had Bryn do that to me last night. My part was gray and right around my hairline was gray. So I said, she just came to visit. So I said, just put the color straight down my part and right around my hairline and set the timer. I don't want it anywhere else because I don't want to keep chasing that, you know, redo. I'm never going to have perfectly covered gray. I'm not a celebrity. I don't have, you know, a team of people working on me. Even though I have access to hairstylists, it's just exhausting. I don't even like to sit there while it processes. I was saying to Bryn, something that I miss with having my hair done here is I do go to a salon when I get the works, but I will touch up my regrowth in between, which I never did before because I hate doing it, but I always had a staff that could do it for me. But women that want to do their own color, I am so sad for them. I'm like, ladies, it's not just about the gray. It's about that community experience. At my age now, I don't get to be around a lot of women socially. You know, I'm in another state. I don't know a lot of people, so I don't get to sit there and just chit chat and tell funny stories and talk to people that I don't really know well. And that's what we provide in the salon. It's more than just the hair. It's more than just sitting there trying to get through. We all have that client that's like checking the timer. How many more minutes? Because they just hate sitting there. So those are the clients that I can see wanting to do their own hair because they can sit at their computer at home, have their retouch sitting on there. The bell goes off. They get in the shower. They wash it out. But here's the difference. Even when I do my own, getting in the shower and washing out a retouch can create quite a mess. This retouch, my formula is much cooler and much darker than what I want on my ends. So if I'm not careful when I get in that shower, luckily I have one of those handheld things in my shower so I can put the pressure right up on there as if I'm in the salon sink, but not everyone has that. If you have one of those beautiful rain showers that has that separated little spray, that's not enough pressure to keep that color from washing down over those ends and muddying out the ends. Most times, like we only did my part this time, so it's okay. But most times when I do my whole touch-up, I have to apply a heavy conditioner all through my blonde while that retouch is on so that when I hit it with water, it doesn't suck into my blondest pieces. And I take the time to do that because I pay a lot of money. My last visit for my highlights was $450, and I'm a licensed hairdresser. It kills me to pay that much money to get my hair done. But I can't highlight my own hair. I can't reach the back. I can't do the kind of dimension that I want. So I just suck it up and say, you know what? It is what it is. If I want quality color, I pay quality prices. But I have to admit, I was a little annoyed this time that I had to touch up my gray so soon because she didn't do the gray this time. And it was something that she chose to do differently this visit. She was like, you know what? I'm going to try something different, and I'm just going to do a quick smudge, and I'm not going to leave it on as long and not as dark. to see how that goes. Well, I had gray within 5 days, and I was going to a wedding, and that's why I splurged and had the whole thing done. But I didn't call her Karen style and say, hey, I just paid you $450 and I have gray hair. You need to fit me in. I knew she was traveling. She teaches. She goes into other salons and teaches. She also has a salon back where she's from, as well as the suite that I go see her in. So I texted her and I said, hey, just giving you the heads up, what we did this time didn't work out, so let's have a different game plan the next time I see you. I wanted to let her know that it wasn't good, but I didn't say, I want you to Venmo me $100 because that retouch didn't take. I knew, because we're both professionals, I knew we were trying something different. And what she did with the highlights and the haircut and blowing it out was still worth the full price of admission, even though the retouch didn't work. So that's the difference. That's a give and take relationship. I'm giving her grace because that's the first time I've ever not been happy. So I'm not going to throw a fit. I'm not going to make a scene. I'm not going to put a bad review on Yelp. But that's because I am in the industry and I understand what it feels like to be on the other end. So if your client doesn't feel heard and doesn't feel like you have validated their concern or their complaint, it doesn't mean you have to redo it totally free. But you do need to make them feel heard, and you do need to make it right in some way. You can say, okay, we were trying something different. It didn't work this time. I'm writing a note in your file. Next time I'll leave it on 10 more minutes. Next time I'll do something different with pre-softening. Whatever it is, give them an answer and tell them they're being heard and you're respecting them. You're not getting defensive. Do not get defensive. That's the worst thing that you can do. But stick to a protocol and make it, like I said, a salon-wide protocol that, they know what to expect. Late clients, again, with the therapy on forums, I see clients like, hairdressers saying, my client stood me up for the third time, to which I want to say, but I don't. I don't comment on any forums but my own because people are so mean and it just makes me feel bad. I'm trying to help and it just makes me feel bad. So when you see, my client stood me up 3 times, the first thing that I think of as a coach, a mentor, and someone who's been doing this for 35 years is, honey, shame on you that she got away with it 2 other times. We've all heard the theory, 3 strikes and you're out. So if a client no-shows, you pick up the phone and you call them and you say, hey, Linda, we had you down for 2 o'clock today. I hope everything is okay. Please let me know that you got this call and let me know, what's up and if you want to, when you want to reschedule. Linda calls back, oh my God, I got caught in a meeting at work. I am so sorry. I never do this, blah, blah, blah. We all have those moments, right? So you give her a pass and you make a note in her client file. We keep track of ours in the iPad contacts section. So it'll say like Linda Miller, her retouch color and any notes, son getting married, wearing blue, whatever. And we put in the notes, no showed, called and apologized, blah, blah, blah. Keep the record that she had her pass. When she does it a second time, you say, Linda, it's my fault for not taking your credit card when it happened last time. So in the future, for you to secure your next appointment, I'm going to need a 50% deposit ahead of time to secure your appointment. It won't be billed until the day of, and if you don't show up, it will be billed, you will be charged. And you set that tone for every visit moving forward. I tell the story all the time. My son's 23. He goes to a barber. His barber has a very strict no-show policy. You will be charged if you don't show up. My son's 23. He can't afford to have a $40 haircut happen without getting the haircut. He can't afford to be penalized with not showing up. He was in college. There's so many times he had an appointment with that barber that he wanted to sleep in. He was out the night before. He had been drinking. He had a big headache. The thoughts of getting his head moved around and getting his haircut were probably awful. But he was like, crap, I got to get there because this guy gets really booked up. And he charges you if you don't show up or if you cancel last minute. So setting those boundaries is how to avoid all future issues. So 99.9% of the posts on these forums were preventable. And it's never too late to change. If you don't have those policies, don't feel like, well, now I can't do it. This client's been coming to me for 20 years. Yes, you can. As soon as she breaks that relationship and no-shows, you have to be firm and say, Linda, I'm so sorry, but I don't know if you realize hairstylists are paid commission. We only get paid when you show. So when you didn't show, I didn't get paid for that service. And I have a family. I hope you understand. And they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea, because they probably work in a giant building with, 25 floors and a cafeteria and a gym, and they get salary and they get sick days and paid vacation and days for funerals and all those things. They don't realize we don't. They really don't. They're not being mean. They just think, oh, she'll go to Marshall's and have a shopping day, or she'll get to go to Starbucks and get her favorite coffee. They almost let themselves off the hook thinking they're doing you a favor. So set those boundaries, be clear, but be kind. Don't be defensive. Know how much is too much that the client is asking for. I've had some clients cross some pretty deep boundaries, wanting to just show up at your house, and, really crazy things happen. And in the beginning of my career, I allowed it until I couldn't take it anymore. So whatever your pain threshold is, and wherever your final, stop is on these things, you'll know, because you'll start to dread going into work. You'll start to show up a little bit later each day with a little less makeup on and not caring what your hair looks like. And all of a sudden, you look ahead and you have these big holes in your book, because people see how we look, how we behave, what our attitude is. It's contagious. So if you're showing up less than, they're going to show up less than. They're going to start being late for you. They're going to start being on their phone and not really talking to you. One of my members of my Insider Hair Color membership suggested that I make one of these coffee chats about introverted hairstylists. She said, I'm very introverted and I love your coffee chats, but you never really talk about that. So because she's introverted, I'm trying to give her a little nudge to get on here and talk to me about it on the coffee chat. So if you're an introverted hairstylist, which there are many, you're really good at what you do and you love the artistic side of it and you just want to get in your zone and get quiet, there's nothing wrong with that. But have that conversation with the client. Hey, Linda, it's so great to meet you. I'm so happy that your friend Jill sent you. Let's talk about your hair. And then as soon as the hair is talked about, you can say, I'm a bit of an introvert. So me having that consultation with you is a little outside my comfort zone. I'm really quiet and I get really into what I'm doing behind the chair. So please don't take offense if I'm not super chatty. Most of my clients come to me because, this is not me talking, obviously, because I don't shut the hell up. But if you are introverted, most of my clients come to me because they like to work while they're having their hair done. So they get on their phone and do their thing. I do my thing. Everybody's happy. If you want to chat with me, that's fine. Just you talk to me and I'll be happy to talk to you. Like set the tone, set it up. And then they're like, oh, she's just shy. She's sweet. She wants to just, pay attention to my hair and make it about me. So have those boundaries, have customer service to a point. We want to do our best to be our best and not cause clients to look elsewhere. But enough is enough with the no-shows, with the lateness, with the blatant disregard for our paycheck and our livelihood. And that's where it has to stop. And you have to throw those boundaries up. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope it hit you right between the eyeballs. If you're going through that, I hope that this was perfect timing. A lot of things happen in life for a reason and jump right out to you. You ever see a quote where you're like, oh my gosh, I totally needed to see that today? Maybe you needed to see that today, to set those boundaries and set those rules and create that policy and procedure manual that you can all agree on moving forward. So thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week.